الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين صدق الله العلي العظيم وقد قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إني لم أبعث لعانا وإنما بعثت رحمة إلى آخره أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. My most respected gathering, may the peace, mercy and blessings of Almighty Allah descend upon us all. In this verse which I have read, Allah has informed the messenger Prophet Muhammad, upon whom be peace, and we have not sent thee except as a mercy for the entire world. I want to remind my Muslim brothers and sisters that Prophet Muhammad, upon whom be peace, did not come to this world as a mercy to the Muslims, but in fact he came as a mercy to all the worlds. He came as a mercy to all of mankind, and this is indeed very significant for us to note, especially in this time in which we are. Subhanallah. Hazrat Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, has narrated, Qila, it was said to the messenger of Allah, Ud'u alal mushrikeen, make dua against the idolaters. Pray against them, maybe that something ill would happen to them. They would be destroyed, they would be in torment. At this, the Prophet, upon whom be peace, said, Inni, verily, lam ub'ath la'anan, I have not been sent as a curse to anyone, but instead, innama bu'ithtu rahmah, I was sent as a mercy to the world. Subhanallah. Allah sent me as a mercy. Ayyuma rajulin sababtuhu fi ghadabi aw la'antuhu la'natan. Any person I would have insulted or offended in my anger. He says, after all, Ana waladun, Ana rajulun min waladi Adam. I am a human being among the children of Adam. Agdabu kama tagdabun. I also become angry like one of you becomes angry. But however, if I during my lifetime should have caused any hurt or any offense to anyone, then Allah has sent me as a mercy to all the worlds. Therefore, I would convert that pain, that hurt or offense into a salutation for him on the day of judgment. Subhanallah. And that is Rahmatul lil Alameen. That is the one we follow, and we would learn a most significant lesson where very unusual morals have been displayed. When Makkah was at the conquest of Makkah, you would remember from history, there was a peace treaty between Muslims and idolaters. Treaties were signed. But the idolaters, the mushrik, the kafirs, they first broke that treaty and very secretly went out to launch an attack against the Muslims. They attacked first. And that was disloyalty. But Allah aided the believers. He gave them the strength and the power, and they fought the battle. They became victorious. Makkah had now belonged to the Muslims. In Makkah there were now Muslims, there were mushrik, idolaters, and there were kafirs. And this was when Surah Tawbah was revealed. That is the one chapter that is sent down without Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim appearing at the beginning. It's not there written at all. Bara'atu min Allahi wa Rasuli. Freedom from all obligations is declared from Allah and His Messenger to those of the mushrik with whom you made a treaty. If a treaty was made and they quietly broke it, well, there is no treaty. It is clearly announced and proclaimed that all treaty has ended. The Prophet, upon whom be peace, who was now the Amir, Rahmatul lil Alameen, he could have instantly expelled all the idolaters from Makkah. Now this is our land, holy grounds. We need no kafirs in Makkah. But it was not like that. Instead, they were granted a respite of 4 months. So travel freely, O mushrikeen. Anywhere you want, in any corner of Makkah, remain, stay, travel, go, see. Arba'ata ashur, for 4 months throughout the land. But know that you cannot escape the punishment of Allah. Now that Makkah is being controlled by the Muslims, you have some time whereby you can look, go, see and find some other place anyway on earth where you can make your sanctuary. They also have rights to live. They are human beings, our brothers and sisters in humanity. Allah created them. O mankind, fear your Lord who has created you from one single soul. And from that one single soul, He created its pair. And from these two, He enlarged so many men and so many women. It is Allah's will, the one in whose hands lies everything. Yes, they are not believers. Makkah belongs now to the believers. They are granted out of mercy and sympathy a chance whereby they can go elsewhere. Go elsewhere, settle down, live, until perhaps guidance would come their way. This is indeed an unusual demonstration of great morals. And I wish that my Muslim brothers and sisters can be moved to read such verses of Al-Quran rather than dwelling only on the verses of the sword, the bow and arrows, and the verses of weapons. We have seen nowadays on the media, both locally and internationally, where the verses of the weapon are being quoted. I have heard the verse I read, "O mankind, fear your Lord, who has created you from one single soul," until the end. But I heard it from non-Muslim leaders. I also heard from non-Muslim leaders, "La ikraha fi din." There is no compulsion in religion. These are the verses we expect that should be carried on the media. The Quran has thousands of verses. Why then, at this time, one should seek to dwell on the verses of the sword? My brothers and sisters, in any gathering, the most friendly gathering, you go to a wedding where there is love, two people come together out of mahabbat and love. If something unusual happens, the securities will be called in. Maybe some people or peoples will be handcuffed, arrested, taken away, and maybe beaten by the authorities. Everyone, everywhere has learned to defend him or herself. And that is fear. The Quran has many verses. What about the wonderful verses that are in the narrative mood? So many lovely lessons for the world of people to hear. We are holding it back. The story of Moses alayhi salam as a baby, thrown into a box, flung into River Nile, ended up at the castle of Pharaoh. Allah showed the world how he brought back Moses to his mother so that again she can attain the coolness of her eyes. I'm giving an example. Such are the narrative lessons we can tell to the world of people if you want to hear something from the Quran. And there are many others that we can hear, human beings perhaps can hear, and they can build iman, and some can accept the faith which is the true deen, the deen of Islam. In that very surah, Tawbah, Allah, who himself has revealed the verses when there is need to defend and to fight, he also said, وَإِنْ أَحَدٌ مِّنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ اسْتَجَارُكَ. If anyone among the idolaters should seek your protection, فَأَجِرْهُ. We know the word ajir. We say, Allahumma ajirni minan nar. Oh Allah, protect me from the fire. Allah said, فَأَجِرْهُ. You protect him. That is, if an idolater has come to you, the very one you have been commanded to fight, if he comes up to you and he is asking you for protection and safety, you give him protection. Hatta yasma'a kalam Allah, so that he can be able to hear something of the Quran, whereby he perhaps can get guidance. And if you are to allow such a person to hear something of the Quran, to be guided and to be softened up, you wouldn't tell him about the verses of the sword. You will show him the beautiful teachings of Islam. How many people who are in ignorance and not in guidance, they learned something from the Quran. They heard a hadith. They learned something great in Islam, and they accepted the faith. And mashallah, they are doing wonderful. They have performed the Hajj. They are fasting during the month of Ramadan. They are not missing one salah. They are paying their zakah. And inshallah, they would be forming the dwellers of paradise. We are not to hate the idolaters. Yes, we dislike their disbelief. In our heart, we have the hope that one day they can be guided. Those very people, if they should be guided by Allah, in whose hands lies guidance, they begin to pray, they begin to fast and pay zakat. What Allah said, فَإِخْوَانُكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ, they become your brothers in the deen. They deserve your hugs. They deserve to be embraced and to be loved. Those were the very people. This is what Prophet Muhammad, upon whom be peace, preached. He was sent as Rahmatul lil Alameen. When it was asked, how do the mushrikun and the idolaters benefit from you coming as a mercy for the world? This was when the Prophet, upon whom be peace, said, they no longer suffer the kind of natural disasters that befell them before my coming. The raining of stones, red storms, and severe earthquakes have ceased to come with the coming of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He did come as a mercy for the entire world. The Prophet, upon whom be peace, and his blessed companions, they fought when it was time to fight. When fighting was justified, they fought for the cause of Islam. They fought in order that Islam would rise to the highest pinnacle of glory. They did not fight to satisfy their own whims and fancies. When they fought, whenever they fought, Islam became and stood at a better position than it was before the fight. See what people are doing today. So-called jihad. Is it putting Islam in a better position? Or Muslims throughout the world are being tortured and looked at differently? That is not jihad. Firstly, people have to understand what is jihad. They need to know what they are fighting for. What is the cause of the battle? Otherwise, it is really jihalat and ignorance. MashaAllah, today Islam was fought for by the Prophet and his companions, and it was handed over to us ready-made, so we call it. We ask ourselves, how much are we protecting and preserving Islam, which was given to us? We came and met Islam ready-made, without having to fight for it. Today we are seeing instead that Muslims are killing Muslims, and that is very unfortunate. So much has been said regarding that in the Hadith and the Quran. When Hajjaj ibn Yusuf launched an armed attack against Hazrat Abdullah ibn Zubair, who was then the Amir of Makkah, it became a very strange scene. There were Muslims on both sides of the battle, and their swords were swishing against each other. There were some people who were concerned. They went to Hazrat Abdullah ibn Umar ibn al-Khattab and said to him, Abdullah, In spite of being the son of Omar, you sit watching this fitna and you were doing nothing about it. Your father would not have tolerated this. Omar, Abdullah sat on. He kept looking. Why are you not doing something about this fitna? He said, I can't do anything about this, and I would not do, because Allah has prohibited a Muslim from flowing the blood of another Muslim. Can't you see? It's Muslims fighting Muslims. They quoted a verse for him. They said, don't you read when Allah has said, قَاتِلُوهُمْ حَتَّى لَا تَكُونُوا fitna. Fight them until there is no more fitna. So, the son of Umar, radiallahu anhu, he said, do you understand what fitna is? Fitna is when Muslims are being prevented from practicing their deen. They are being tortured only because they obey and follow the command of Allah. They are being imprisoned for no other reason because they follow Islam. That is the fitna which is referred to in that verse. He said, we fought the battle as Allah commanded us to do, in such a way that there remained no more fitna anywhere. We got rid of the fitna, and now Islam became dominant, and the Muslims became free to practice Islam everywhere. Now, here are a people like you who just love to fight. Tuhibbul qital, you just love to fight without any real cause. What you doing? You are now planting the seed of fitna all over again. That is what you are doing. We fought the battle. Today, mashallah, you take note of it. You can travel to Heathrow Airport and you will be so gladdened to see a sign, Muslim prayer room, where you can go with ablution and you can feel free to pray. You go in Piako, you have a place with janamas, you can go and pray. And there are many other parts of the world where you can go and pray, and there is no one to prevent you. The son of Umar radiallahu anhu, he said, we fought the battle when there was time to fight and when jihad was justified. Islam is now dominant. We live in a country where Muslims are invited to the Prime Minister's residence to have Eid dinner. We live in a country where the Muslims receive gifts and handouts from the government. We should consider this to be a fortune. We are very lucky. There is no need to provoke war. There is no need again to instigate the fitna when it was removed. There are many verses of the Holy Quran, my brothers and sisters. Muslims take offense very quickly. Someone says an adverse remark about Islam, you are ready to declare war, you are ready to riot, you are ready to fight. Islam was given to us ready-made. And I ask myself, and I ask you, how many of us are doing what we ought to do to preserve the laws of Islam? How many of us would think for a moment that if there should be any difficulties, problems with the deen, it could stem from ourselves? How many Muslims remain sleeping, both males and females, young and old, when the time for the Fajr prayer is expiring. Muslims who take offense on hearing something adverse about the deen of Allah, they themselves are destroying the true essence of Islam. Strong and healthy men and women remain sleeping. The time of Fajr is going. The time for Maghrib, the time for Isha, they are in front of the television. But they are ready to fight. They are ready to defend Islam. Somebody is saying something bad about the deen of Allah. Have you not read where that very Allah and Rabbul Alameen has mentioned, ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر, mischief resulting into murders, accidents, trials, high cost of living, and other things we can mention. Bima kasabat aidikum, because of what the hands of man have committed. لِيُذِيقَهُمْ بَعْضَ الَّذِي عَمِلُوا, in order that He may give them a taste of some of what they do. لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجِعُونَ, so that they can turn back from evil deeds. How sometimes we behave as if what is happening, Allah has no part to play in this. Why do we behave like that? I therefore make this appeal to my brothers and sisters. We are the ones, we have guidance. We know what the kuffars do not know. Wherever Allah promises the Muslims, what He promises, jaza, recompense, jannat, gardens beneath which rivers flow. When He promises the kafirs and the idolaters, what He promises them? The opposite, the burning fire. Let us be more patient, be tolerant, follow Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, learn to be forgiving and pardoning, and learn to ignore the threats and the troubles that came. Show the beautiful side of Islam. Islam, the Quran and Hadith have quite a lot to offer to the world of people. Let us not dwell on the verses of fighting, the verses of the sword. You know this very well. Many non-Muslims who do not know better think that Islam was spread by the sword. Can we therefore prove to them that this is not so? As Muslims, followers of Rahmatul lil Alameen, the one who was sent as a mercy for the world, let us show to the world of people that Muslims are disciplined people, forgiving, loving, pardoning, always accommodating. And do not forget that all human beings everywhere in the world, we have come from the same two people, Adam and Eve. We are brothers and sisters in humanity. The very verse of Quran has said, let not your hate for a people prevent you from doing justice. The Quran came down all at once from Lawh Mahfuz, but it was during a span and a period of 23 years. It was sent down verse by verse, bihasbil waqai'. Yes, in accordance with the occasion that demanded its revelation. Know it. Al-hikmah dhalatul mu'min. Wisdom is the lost property of a believer. Wisdom is the lost property. It has been lost, a property of a believer. Aynama wajadaha akhadaha. Wherever he finds it, grasp and hold on to it. Know what we are supposed to say at what point in time. And I urge you, you try and I will. The time has come when we have to show the beautiful teachings of Islam. It is indeed very beautiful. It is not a religion of war and fighting, when in fact Islam means peace. That is the meaning of Islam. How could we unite together to show the world of people really without doubt Islam means peace? May Allah guide us all that we can grasp on to the wisdom where we can show both Muslims and non-Muslims this is the one and only way to success. And Islam is a way of life. But at the end of it, La ikraha fi din, there is no compulsion. No one can compel and force another into Iman. May Allah bless and reward us all. Barakallahu lana wa lakum fil Qur'anil azim wa nafa'ana wa iyyakum bil ayati wa dhikril hakim.